Good morning, everyone. Let's start now with this today course, ARCHER2 Data Carpentry. Yes, the first 15 minutes of this course was to fill in the pre-workshop survey and also comment in case that you have any issues with the installation, but if you didn't have the time now, we can have a look later today. Also mention that this session will be recorded. This is for you to check later in case that you want to review some things that we have talked during this lesson, and the recording will be uploaded next week in the course page that I will share with you in the chat in one moment. Okay, here is the. So the recordings will be available there in that website. Okay, so if you are familiar with this, okay, I see there is a question in the chat. No, you can. You don't need to create an account to see the recordings. They will be available on the website. And also, I see there is some issues with the sound. What I will advise is to reconnect or check the volume. I'm not sure if other people can hear me clearly. If you can mention that in the chat. Okay, so yeah, thank you. That might be an issue with the sound level of your operating system. So yes, my advice is yes to have a look at that or try to reconnect and see if that improves the sound. I'm sorry about that. Okay, if I'm not sure if you have attended before to these carpentries or an ARCHER2 course, but what we follow for this course is we call ARCHER2 code of conduct. That we have there the main points. That is use welcoming and inclusive language, be respectful of different viewpoints and experiences. Gratefully accept constructive criticism, focus on what is best for the community, and show courtesy and respect towards other community members. Meaning, in a nutshell, be kind each other. This is the schedule for today and tomorrow. In the morning, we will see data organization in Spreadsheets. Then we will have a morning break. And after that break, we will see OpenRefine. We will have an hour for lunch. And this afternoon, a colleague of mine, Eugenie, will introduce R. We will also have an afternoon break, 15 minutes, and we'll finish at 4:30. Tomorrow, more or less the same. We will start at 9:30 with R, and we will have morning breaks, a morning break, a lunch break, and in the afternoon we will see SQL. And we will have a break and also give you some time for provide course feedback. That this is very important for us to improve and see if the course is if we need to improve something of the course. And yes, we also finished at half past 4. Okay, I guess that you will have questions of the lesson. So in case that you want to ask the question, you have 2 choices. You can use raise a hand and unmute yourself, and you can speak up and ask the question. The raise hand, the button is on the bottom of on the screen. You will select a person with a raise a hand. And also you can ask the questions in the Blackboard Collaborate chat. Also, we have a collaborative pad that is that link that I'll share in the. I will share that in the chat. The thing is because we noticed this morning that the certificate of that website is expired, so you will have a warning that there is a potential security risk ahead. So it's up to you if you trust me or you trust ARCHER2. You can accept the risk and continue, and you will see the Etherpad. What I will do is I will share my screen, because what we will do next is we will introduce everyone using the Etherpad, and you can see how it works. So what I will do, this is the link of the Etherpad. What I will do, I will share my screen. That takes me some seconds to find the button. Okay, here. I think it's this one. So I guess can you see my screen? Perfect. So what we will do now, if you go here to, okay, we are now in this course page. I will paste that link in the chat. This is the course page. I see that there is a question about the materials for the course. If you go to the schedule, you will find them. For instance, if you click here, you will find the lesson that we will follow just now. And these are the materials. The materials are, rather than slides, is a website. So what I will do, okay, I will introduce myself. My name is Juan. I work at EPCC. I'm an application consultant, and also I'm the ARCHER2 training function lead. What I do is I organize courses, ARCHER2 courses around the UK, and offering different topics like the carpentry. This is data carpentry. So we offer software carpentry, and we have other courses more specific to ARCHER2. To use the machine, we have ARCHER2 for. We have 3 different types. ARCHER2 for software developers, ARCHER2 for package users, and ARCHER2 for data scientists. Also, we offer courses more focused on programming languages like C++, Fortran, Python. There are other courses about the libraries like MPI, OpenMP. You can find if you are interested in the catalog, you can type www.archer2.ac.uk. And if you click back here in training, you will find course descriptions. These are the courses that we offer. And in upcoming training, you can find the courses that you can register. No, that doesn't make a. Okay, so thanks for the introductions. I see that we have I guess that most of you are from Heriot University, and also I see that you are from different. See that that you are from business school, and people interested in R. That's good because we will see R after lunch and introduction. So I see that we have people that join from Dubai. Good, welcome. Have a PhD student, Harry Watt. So yeah, that's good. Like it's have a diverse group. Oh, I see that. Yeah, more more introductions. PhD student working on sustainable building design. Sounds interesting. So working in sequencing, bioinformatics. Yeah, I see there is a comment, improve use of Python. I'm afraid that, this course will cover R rather than Python. For Python, my advice is you can attend, rather than data carpentry, it's called software carpentry, and this course covers Python. I think we plan to have a course in February about of software carpentry. Also in January, ARCHER2 offers a course on Python, but this is more advanced. But I can send you the info later today. Computational chemistry. Cool, that's great. That's a thank you everyone for the introductions. Yes, I forgot to introduce the helpers of today. Today we have Danielle, Ayesa, Zainab. Sorry if my pronunciation is not the best for your names. And also, we have Toby. Later in this afternoon, we will have a colleague of mine, Jenny, that will teach the R part. Also, I see that there is a question about getting attendance certificates. Yes, it's possible to get them at the end of this course. So tomorrow afternoon or Wednesday, you will receive an email after the course saying thank you, also with a feedback form. And if you reply to that email asking for a certificate of attendance, I will get that. So yes, it's possible to get a certificate of attendance. Great. Okay, so what we will do is we will start with the. See, also we have people from the University of Edinburgh. So yeah, mixed group. So we will start with this lesson that is data organization in spreadsheets. Yes, in the chat, yeah, this session will be recorded and available on the course page. I'm sorry that you still have problems with the sound. Okay, so I will copy in the chat. This is the lesson that we will follow just now. And the first thing that you need to do is well, first thing, if you haven't done so, if you click here in Setup, you need to download that file on your computer. I will copy that address here. So you need to download that file for later. And well, let's start. So you see the format of this, rather than slides, is the contents are on a website, and this website is that is the Carpentry community that updates the content often. So is there you will always have an update version in case that there is a typo there, or something could be better explained. This is done. I will make this bigger. And you see, okay, this first part we mentioned about the spreadsheet, but here what we will not teach how to use a spreadsheet to create plots or to do some statistics or write code. For that, we will use R later today. What we will use the spreadsheets today is to make the data, to enter data, and also make the data cleaner and make the data readable for the computer, because we need to give a format that is working for the computer. So it's like see in the chat, pre-processing the data. Also, spreadsheets are good when we have the amount of data that we have is small. At the moment that we have a large file, after the morning break, we will see how to use OpenRefine. OpenRefine is a tool that when you have a large data set, you can pre-process the data in a much better way. And here is mentioned why we are not teaching data analysis on spreadsheets. The problem is to reproduce the steps, because normally when you when you do some research, you work in a group, you work with other colleagues, and when you have the data and you want, for instance, to create a plot, it's difficult using a spreadsheet to tell your colleague how to reproduce or how to create the same plot. You will need to say, okay, I open the spreadsheet, I click in these cells, then I'm clicking that button, then I'm clicking. So it's difficult to explain and to make for instance, the creation of a plot reproducible. But using R, for instance, you can create a script, and you can take the script and send the script to your colleague and say, okay, I use this script. If you want to create the plot, use the same script. It's way better in that way. And well, here mention problems that you have from a spreadsheet, that sometimes you have a formula in one of the cells, but if you update that formula, is not updating the rest of the cells, so you have to do it manually. If you have any other, if in the past, if you have experienced any other problems with the spreadsheets, you can type them in the chat and we can comment them. So here is mentioned that well, normally it's available Excel as to open spreadsheets, but there are other tools like OpenOffice Calc, LibreOffice, etc. What we will do. Okay, what is explained here is two things. Let me. Okay, yeah, this is important, how to structure the data in the spreadsheet. Normally, you use a table, and the table has columns, rows, and also the data itself. The advice that is given here, and also is the advice that I follow and the advice that I encourage to follow, is that when you have a table, when you do some experimentation, you have several variables. So use one column per variable. That could be temperature, could be weight, and each of the observations that you have, write them on using rows, for one row per observation. Also, try not to combine several pieces of information in the same row. Yeah, that's it. What I would like to go here is well, also an advice that is given here is that it's also important to have your spreadsheet and also a text document explaining like the processing notes, because the thing is, for instance, you can receive the spreadsheet. Either you can download it from the internet, from from internet, a repository where the spreadsheet is available there, and you will need to do some pre-processing. Or okay, you can receive also the spreadsheet from a colleague. When you do that for the pre-processing, these notes should be written down in a separate document, like is shown here in a TXT file. I see that there is a comment exactly because we see that in this table, I advise that please use one column per variable, and don't mix data. And here you see that in this column that is species and sex are in the same cell, so are not split. So this is wrong. Actually, this example is to to explain that. But before spotting more errors, what we will do is we will open the file that we have. I will share again the link. Is copy link, paste. So what I will do is I will give you 5 minutes, and please open the link, open the spreadsheet, and write in the chat the errors that or the things that you think that can be improved from that spreadsheet. I will open it in my laptop and share it to you. Yes, and I will share. Yeah, is this allowed? A moment. So yeah, this is for instance, I'm using a LibreOffice Calc because I have a Ubuntu operating system. But of course, you can use Excel or any other program that you can have to. Okay, see that you are spotting all of these. So okay, I will start. Okay, I see that there is one comment that is regarding the weight. The weight, okay, is taken in grams, but you see that in the first table, the table on the left, you see that is, for instance, 33G or 40G. It's not a good idea to put well, I mean, it's good that you say that the weight is in grams, but it's not the best position to place that in the cell. So what I will do is either on the top of the name of the column, I will say that the weight is in grams, and also on the text document, I will explain, okay, the weight is in grams, but for the computer, will not be good to have here grams. And also you see that in this table, the grams is not introduced in the, so it's it's different. As well, it's like you see here that is, don't know if that was mentioned in the chat, but yeah, it's similar that here the weight, they said that this is the scale was calibrated, it's not calibrated. So that's not also the best place to a way to, in case that you want to say if it was calibrated or not. My advice is to create a new column here that you can say calibrated, or let's see, something like that. And you can say yes, yes, and no. So have a different column and saying if the scale was calibrated or not. Let me check of the other comments. Okay, I see that this is also a good point that we will talk about that later, that there is empty, when we receive data, normally we have a collection, that is normally some missing data. And here, the way that they use is they leave the space blank. Actually, this is a good practice to if the data is missing, to leave the space blank, because other people, what they do, for instance, if the weight is missing or you don't have information about that, you type 0. But for instance, this is not good, because 0 what means that the data is missing, that the weight is less than a gram, so it's 0 grams. You don't have you don't know. It's difficult to guess that. So ideally, yeah, you leave the space blank. Some people introduce maybe, I don't know, 999, but uh, yeah, again, you don't know if this is valid or not, of a negative number. But the problem is, okay, maybe as a human, okay, you read and you see that the weight is negative, and you understand, okay, it's because it's missing or there is an error, but the computer doesn't understand that if the weight is negative, it's not valid. So the advice here, when the data is missing, for instance, weight, leave us a blank space. But we will see more about that later. Also, it's mentioned that we have different tables. We have a table for this species, is a DM, this other table for DO, and this other table for DS. Also, this is not a good practice, because when we later we will see we will export that to a format file that is called CSV, comma separated value, and if you use this format, it will not work. It will be a mess. So my advice is create here a new column called species, and you species. As you can type DM, and have only one table. Okay, let me check the chat to see more issues with the. Also, I see that is mentioned the separate. Yes, as also is mentioned that here we have like different tables, and if you see in the bottom, we have also different tabs. This is also not good when we export the data to a CSV. So the advice here is to have only one table. Also, this is not good. You see that we mentioned before that if it's calibrated or not, and here you see that they use the background of the cell is gray to say that the measure was not calibrated correctly. When you export this to a CSV file, or imagine that a person that is colorblind, or the computer itself doesn't detect if when you are processing this data in batch, doesn't know the format of the cell, if it's a gray, yellow, or any other color. So this is not a good practice. My advice here is again, create a new column and say if it's calibrated or not. And also, I see in the chat that is mentioned about there is a problem. What problem? We'll discuss this later about the dates. Okay, we see that here dates are same format, have a day, month, and year. But for instance, in this column, we have the dates, but are in a different format. Well, we see that here, if we go to the, okay, I will make this a little bit bigger. So this is a different format. What it is advised in the documentation. Well, actually, yeah, there are several ways of writing a date in a way that the computer could understand. One of the ways is to have different columns depending on the if it's a year, month, and day. For instance, let's say that I will make this bigger. Today is 6th of December of 2021. So one column could be year, the other column could be month. I don't know why this is like a. And the other column could be, sorry, I don't know. Well, you see here that each, we make this, the font is a different size, day. So have 3 columns. For instance, for today, year, you introduce 2021, month, you introduce 12, and day, you introduce 6. Don't know why have different, okay. So you can store the date in that format. In case that you don't want to have three columns, another way that appears in the documentation, for instance, personally I like, but is like a save the date in using text, like using text, like let's say date. Sorry that this is like a small font, don't know why. So one way that also it works to sort the table by date is first just write the year 2021, then you write the month 12, and then you write the day, that is 06. You keep like the two digit. So another way to save the date is like this in a string. Like the first 4 characters are the year, the first 2 are the following 2 the month, and the following 2 the day. Oops, what is it? Yeah, joys of using a spreadsheet. What else? Let me check the chat. There are other. Anyway, we'll go through the list of. I will share my other screen. I think it's this one. Yes. Also, it's explained here that we will see later. We will emphasize on that here is said never modify your raw data. When you receive data, or when you download the data from the internet, or you receive data from your colleague, always, as I said, keep the raw data raw and create a copy of that data and modify that copy. Imagine that, for instance, I am in a spreadsheet. By mistake, I delete a column and I save the document and the column is gone. And later I notice, oh, I delete that column, but actually I needed that because for this experimentation I will need. So you will not have a other way of getting that column. Well, okay, you can go download again from the your email or download again from the internet, but I don't. Yeah, it's a mess. You will not have because the data could be not available any longer, or it's like maybe one time share. So my advice is to take to keep the original, the raw data, to keep that copy and do all the modifications in a new document. And also in the modifications that you do, keep a log in a plain text file. Okay, here what we will do is we will go through this. Oh, sorry. Is this big enough, the font size? I hope so. If not, let me know. Great. So, well, we have talked about using multiple tables. This is not a good practice because you see that here you have, for instance, in this spreadsheet, multiple tables, and for the computer will not understand. The computer will not understand that there are when you use R or other program like OpenRefine, the computer will not see several tables. So the advice is to use only one table. And same when you use multiple tabs, it's good that you use only one tab or different. Also here is mentioned that this is important, that is normally when you find in weight, like I said before, if we find a blank means that the data is missing for some reason. But also you can say, okay, the weight is 0, I will not bother, I will not introduce a 0. If something is a 0, please introduce a 0 because if it's empty, you don't know. Normally, it's because it's that means that the data of the observation is missing in that. Using problematic null values, as I mentioned before, like minus 999. Here in this table, you can see the null values that you can use. Well, in the table, mentioned that the best option is to leave the space blank. It talks about the compatibility. When I mentioned before that the computer doesn't understand, etc., is actually this programming languages of these languages, because well, SQL is not a programming language. We have here there are 3 languages that are mentioned are R, Python, and SQL. And when you, for instance, later we will talk about NA. That is in order to introduce like a null value. It is compatible with, for instance, if we use R, but if we use Python, SQL, it's also possible. But I mean, we need to be careful with because for instance, SQL NA will recognize it as a string. So could be an issue, or Python as well. So also there are ways when you import or export the data, you can be careful and you can say, okay, this column contains an A. I will change to null, for instance, before importing the data using Python or using SQL. So this is important to bear in mind, and for pre-processing the data, depending on the language that we will use later to process it, Python, SQL, or R, we need to choose one way or another. Well, there are here like some like a void and good option. Yeah, that table is interesting. Using formatting to convey information, like saying, okay, this is a color yellow, so this is not calibrated. That's not good, because when we use the language that I mentioned before are not. So solution, create a new column saying yes, no, regarding if it's calibrated or not. Using formatting, the thing is when you export data, or when you use a language to process the data, they will not care about the formatting, or maybe they will make things a little bit messy. So yeah, not it's not like let's say really important to place comments or units in cells that before we saw that is like a calibrated and not calibrated, etc. So this is not good. I will create either other column, or create a document, separate document explaining, or what is mentioned here. Yes, create another column. But yeah, don't mix. Don't put in one cell several pieces of information, like we have seen before, like they put the species and sex in the same cell. That is actually, yeah, it's mentioned here. Also for the names, that here it's mentioned that try okay, yeah, I understand now. Group name about, okay, what is mentioned here, when you name the columns, try not to use spaces, because will be trigger later for when we use R or Python to process these names. Also, don't use like these symbols. Like try to make the name as easy as possible for the. So here is instead of spaces, you can use underscore, or even without you can use like capital letters, small letters to differentiate about mm, several words joined together. Again, avoid using special characters in data. What they mentioned about the metadata is like this could to have a separate text file with the later when we see OpenRefine, you will understand better why I'm mentioning or I like saying about this like a separate text file. Well, here the summary of the. Here it's explained. I already explained that you can go. You can use the preferred date format is a year, month, day in that order because I mean if you use that order, you can sort the data by date, and it's easier for the computer to do that. When you use the date in Excel, depending on the format, it could appear in one way or another. And the problem is when you export the data to CSV, you will miss that and you can commit mistakes. So that's why it's a little bit tricky. So the advice that is given here is either use a string using a year, month, day, or well, here is mentioned year and day of year in separate columns, but to be honest, I never used that format. I'm not sure if that will be, don't know, easy enough to use. So my personal advice is to use a year, month, day, either in different columns or using a string. Like here is mentioned that is you can use to say 24th of March of 2015. We'll make this bigger. You can use 2015, 03, that is the month, and 24 is the date. And also if you see this string can be short by date, can be short, and you will short the table contents by day. There are other about quality control. Okay, for to explaining that, I need to open one moment. I will do this. Oops. Okay, let's stop shading, and I will share. Okay, this one. What I will do, because I don't have Excel in my laptop, I will open this using OneDrive. That is okay. I think it's this one. Let me share again now with you the share application. Okay, I see there is a question in the chat that is interesting. The question is there a function formula for automatically processing the dates into a preferred format? Yes, we have in Excel we have the functions year, month, and day. Yeah, actually, it's a good question. Let me make an example here. For instance, let's introduce year, month, and day. Okay, see that is And what you can use the formula year, and let's see if that works, and you get 2015. For month, you can use the month is the sorry that this is small. Well, you see that the format. Okay, use 24. So it's 24. It's bigger. And day, also you can use the formula that is day. And in that way, you can check. Also, I will type that in the chat. So it's a year, month, and day. And also for the table, yeah, you can use these formulas to get the year, month. What I'm doing is if you click on the cell and you in the bottom right, the cursor changes to like a plus symbol, and you can copy the formula to the rest of the cells. But for instance, in this case, this is one of the ways to make the data format looking better. Okay, well, we have what is explained in the lesson. There are two things. You can use conditional formatting to spot if something is wrong or not. The conditional formatting is if you see here there is a this don't know if I can make this bigger. No, that makes sense. You click here, conditional formatting, you can give color scales. For instance, we will use conditional formatting on the weight. This is just an example. If you give color scales green and red, you see that the weight is not, for instance, if the weight is big or is in green, if the weight is low, is in red. This works when you have like for instance this small table and you want to spot imagine that the weight cannot be less than 40, for instance, and you see that there are two values that are 31, 33. So it's to help you to see if something is wrong or not in a let's say in a formal way or not. So in that case, you can use conditional formatting. Well, we will see, because I think now is break. We are now in the morning break. I will explain later how to save, how to validate a data that you introduce in a cell. We will export the data into a CSV file, and then we will start working with the OpenRefine. So let me check the that I think we are now in the break. No, this is not the link. So I have so many tables, so many tabs open. Okay, yeah, so it's a 10:45 morning break. So if you have any questions, please write them in the chat. But what we will have now is 15 minutes in case that, yes, for a morning break, coffee, tea, have a, like, yes, be away from the laptop for a while. And we'll come back at 11 in 15 minutes and we'll finish the spreadsheet lesson and start working with OpenRefine. So thanks. See you at in a few minutes at 11. So welcome back. Yeah, it was a short break. Hope that you had time for a glass of water, coffee, tea, or at least be off of your laptop for a short while. What I will do is I will finish the okay. I will finish to explain the spreadsheet part, and we will start working with OpenRefine. That tool will be more interesting to because yeah, this first part was a little bit of a theory about how to handle or pre-processing the data, but this part is will be more like a more apply or more fun, I think. Um, okay, let me share my screen. I think it's this one. Okay, so there are two remaining things to explain. One is the conditional formatting that you can give here like some colors, or you can apply this to have a look and see what if that uh, looks so good or not. And what is explained here, I will try. Give me a second. Okay, you can see the fine. Great. So that is also another way on the Excel to do is called data validation. If you go to the data tab, you will have a data validation here. So for instance here, data validation means that you cannot introduce data that is not is not is wrong. Let's say, for instance, weight. What we will do is that weight cannot be less or equal than 0. So this is sorry, see that here shows the font is a little bit small, but here you specify what you allowed in the when you allowed in the cell, that what we will allow is okay, we can use a decimal data, and it should be like greater than 0, for instance. And then you have another tab that is error alert, that you can also use choose if it's a blocking or warning. The title, that is no screen R. Let's see if I remember. Yeah, a message. You can say the weight must be greater than 0. Sorry, the font is very small, but and if you click here in OK, you see that what this is blank. But if you introduce, imagine -5, you will get that warning saying that the weight must be greater than 0. Continue, and you can say yes, no. So this is like the part that I didn't have time before to explain. And well, yeah, you can. Okay, no 0. So delete. Yeah, fine. Once, okay, this is not sorted, but well, like not, yeah, that's a look. But once that you have you are happy with the format in Excel, you can export that to a CSV, that is a comma separate value file. Why we are doing that? Because for OpenRefine, we will need that format in order to work with the data. So if you go, I will switch my screen. Is this one? Here, if I, okay, you don't see them. Sorry, I need to share the, stop. I need to share the whole, I know the entire button, not. So it's a little bit of a mess, like sharing screens, sharing windows. So now, when you click on, well, I use in LibreOffice, but when you use Excel, there are two ways. There is a way that is save or export, and you can choose the format. That you can choose the format could be the Excel, the modern one that is XLSX. That is the old one that is without the X. You can also use another format that, if I remember right, is ODS is the for LibreOffice and OpenOffice. Sorry, I don't remember. Yeah, I think it's a yeah, Open Document, and the S is for a spreadsheet. Yes, ODS. And also you can choose for CSV, and you can save the file in CSV. I can show you a file that is saving CSV in case that you give me a moment. Is it open? Yes. Oh, well, okay, doesn't show. Share application. Okay, this one. Okay, this is a pretty small. Well, that's fine. The thing is, when you open the CSV file, you will see that you have a bunch of data, and the data is separated by commas. Cool. Okay, I will stop sharing. And this is regarding, say, pre-processing or like data wrangling with the spreadsheets. We'll do now. We'll use OpenRefine. So first of all, I will. If you go, I will share this screen. think it's this one. If you go to the course page, and you go to the schedule, yeah, here you can click here in OpenRefine for data cleaning. You click on that. I will copy that link in the chat in case that will make this bigger. Okay, what we need to do first, if we go to setup, we need to download this data file in our computer. I will copy the link here in the chat. So you need to download that. I will. Okay, yeah, I already have it in my computer. And you see that we have a CSV file. I will open. Oh no. I will open the file. But what you can open it, and if you open it, it depends. Normally it's open. You can open it with Excel, but you can also open it using using a text like a notepad or a text editor, and you can see that you have a lot of values separated by columns. Sorry, by columns, by commas. Okay, so also software, OpenRefine. If you go to the website, see if that goes, yeah, it is bigger. Download. Depending on your browser, you can use either the version when the lesson was created, the latest version was 3.4.341. Now is released 3.5. So up to you. You can use. I think I download the latest one, but you can also use this one. I think it's. I've checked and I didn't find any differences. Well, of course, there should be like a differences of some bugs or some things behind the scenes, but for this lesson, I don't think that there is much of a difference. There are two windows. One is included Java, the other doesn't. I will use the Linux one, but what we will do. Okay, let's open OpenRefine and see if that works. So in my case, I need to go to text. Refine. Okay, refine. Let's see if that works. If it works, you see that a new tab is open in your browser. It's taking a while. Okay. Let me check if I can. Oh, nice. Okay, I can make it bigger. Okay. There is a there is a question saying to back up the workspace. This is in case that you have used OpenRefine before and you want to you want the workspace that we will use, so you want to have a backup, or in our case, I don't know if you have used it before, but I mean, you don't need to do that. It's It's not a problem because we haven't used it before. So you don't need to back up the workspace. Normally, the thing is when you open well, we talk here about projects. When you open the project, I mean, we will work with a project, but this is in case that you have worked before with a project and want to work in a new project. So yeah, it's like I explained how to close the. So let's what we will do is we have downloaded is for everyone is OpenRefine working? So you can type in the chat. Oh, that's great. Thanks. Okay, so I didn't. I started talking about OpenRefine, but I didn't introduce anything about it. OpenRefine. Good things of OpenRefine. This is open source. It's free. As you can see, you can go to the website, download the software, and run it on your laptop. And OpenRefine is very good when you have we have used before spreadsheets, but okay, the data that we have was small. But when you have big files or big databases that you need to handle, OpenRefine is save you some time when you do when doing the operations. The spreadsheet some time could get, well, rather than the spreadsheet, the software that you use, Excel, LibreOffice, sometimes is not available in the laptop. You need to install it, and when the file is quite big, gets a little bit slow, or the laptop you don't have enough RAM, or OpenRefine is much more efficient in that sense. So let's start. What we will do now is we will import the project. So you need to get data from you can get from this computer. In theory, also you can get from a URL, but I haven't tried yet. Yeah, when you OpenRefine, sometimes gets it's a little bit slow to load, but hopefully it's see that you don't. Yeah, one of the attendees is still waiting. Just let us know when this is. In the meantime, if you keep an eye on the screen that I'm sharing, I will explain how to choose the file and import the file to OpenRefine. Oh, grand. Okay, so nice. We are everyone on the same page. Okay, if I click in choose files, because I'm sorry, you don't see the you will see a window where you can choose the file that you have download. Yeah, this is not showing the screen. Sorry about that. So you choose the file that you have downloaded. That is portal rodent blah 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 .csv. If you open that you have chosen here, and then you click on next. So, uploading data, loading preview. I will make sorry, I will make this a little bit smaller. So here you see the CSV file that if you open it with a text editor, you will see a bunch of data that you will not understand. But what is here, you will find that you see the column names are okay, that the column names are survey ID, record ID. You see that, for instance, here they use month, year, sorry, month, day, and year in separate columns. Okay, you have all of these scientific name, locality, Json. You have all of these columns, and also you have all of these rows. The name of the file is, you need to download this file. I paste in the chat the name of, this is the name of the file that you needed to import, and you can download that file from here. Yeah, that. Also here you have a lot of options that well, we will not explore because normally the default ones work. There is an option that we will not mark because we will see later why it's. Okay, let me make this bigger. Doesn't work. You see this option that is trim leading and trailing white space from strings. That option, we will see why it's useful. But when we import the data, we don't need to use it. So we will leave this like unchecked. So if you see more or less like this, like the same view as I have, survey ID, record ID, etc., you can click. Okay, we can choose the project name. Don't know. Let's choose DC, Data Carpentry, _ Edinburgh. Oops. This will be our project name. And now we click on create project. Creating project. And now you see this. This is like a kind of a spreadsheet. And you see that here we have a 35,000, more than 35,000 rows. If we open that using like Excel or LibreOffice, will take a while to load it and to do some changes. The good thing that well, we will explain here is faceting. That this is you see here on the left column. We can use these facets and filters. What that means is we will create, for instance, for a scientific name, for this column, we will create a facet that is you click in the arrow that is next to the name, facet, test facet, and you here you have for I think I'm not sure if you're familiar with the term categorical data, that when you have, for instance, for scientific name, in this case, we will have 28 choices. So you see the different scientific names that we have. Here is explained that there's 28 choices, and also it's convenient that next to the I will try this make this bigger to get a facet is okay. We'll repeat again. That is, for instance, if you are done with that, you can close here. To create a new, you go to scientific name, and there is an arrow next to the to scientific name. Then in the drop down, facet, test facet, it creates the, and this is a short by name, but you can sort by count. Imagine that you wonder, okay, what is the scientific name that is repeated the most? So if you click here, you will see that Dipodomys merriami has 10,000, more than 10,000 observations in that data set. What else we can do for here I explained this is when we use text, but also we can use numeric ones. Numeric ones, for instance, let me check if there is a column called A. Or imagine the, okay, I can use year. I can do a facet for using year. I can use the same procedure. Facet. I'm not sure if that will, I think it will complain. Okay, yeah. If you use for year, you use the numeric facet, you will get a non-numeric value present. Why? Because all of these columns are the type is a string, but you can change that. You can say, okay, year will be a number. That this was let me find the okay, yeah. Is again, you click on the arrow that is next to the column name. You go edit cells, common transforms, and here click to number. And what you get here a message on the top that says text transform all of these cells of column year and value to number. And you see that now the number is color is like yeah green. And now you see in this facet that this is a numeric one. So you have here like a kind of histogram, and you can choose like the range, etc. But this is like two different ways of use a facet, using a scientific name or using numbers. Is okay for everyone? Do you want me to repeat anything? So, okay, I will like explain again. I was you have when we import the data from the CSV file, by default, all columns are treated as text, and we have several types of facets. This is to filter data. You can use a text facet that is like this one, the scientific name that you get for this column. You get the different facet, the different values that you can find here. Or you can use this facet that is by a number. That, for instance, maybe year is not the right example, but you can use this format to 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 change the format, because by default is a string. To change it to number, we have done this with year. We can do this by by day. Okay, so what we will do, yeah, in order to what I will do is I will give you a give me a second. What we will do for this part of the, we will do okay, let's do this like a exercise. I will paste this in the for some exercises you will already know the answer, but in that case you will have time like to catch up, and I will delete this facet. So okay, I will give you 5 minutes to catch up and do the exercise and see how you can create facets of this. Also, didn't before you start the exercise. Sorry, I haven't explained that before. You have seen that I have the column year is now a number, and if you click on the left part of the window, you will see that there is a tab called Undo Redo. You will see that there is here a new. This is a log, and this is the changes that we have done to the file. Because before the break, I explained that you shouldn't, two things, that you shouldn't modify the raw data, and also you should keep track of the changes that you do. OpenRefine offers both. You will not do changes to the raw data, and all the modifications that you do to that data will be here, list in that part of the. So, for instance, if you change the year to now it's a number, but if you are not happy with that change, if you click on the previous step, you see that now the year is again is a string. So you undo the change that you have done before, in case that you have put the year as a. Exactly. See that there is a question in the chat saying if the file that we have downloaded remains the same. Yes. OpenRefine will not modify that. What we will see at the end of the lesson is once that we are happy with the changes, we will save the changes into a new file, not the file that we are working now. So regarding the exercise, when you are done, you can type the answers in the or well, wait, give you a couple of minutes and you can type the answers in the chat and we can discuss them. So that's fine. And also, well, I'll have a look at the chat in case that there are any questions, but the thing is, for instance, for this exercise, if you transform that column to years, it will be difficult to see to solve the exercise because the exercise asks you which years have the most and least observations. When you change that to numeric, you will not have that option. So my advice is don't change year to numeric format just now. What I explained before was just an example, like to show you. Yeah, by default, everything is text. No, that's okay. I haven't tried that. See in the chat that you can. I repeat again to make the column. You can make the column edit cells to number, and then you can use a text fast. Ah, okay, yeah. Oh, that okay. Yeah, you can use a text facet of numeric. So to solve this exercise, it's better to use a text facet, because you can see the next to the year, you can see the count, and you can provide the answers. The other, the numeric one, is to see, because you have a histogram, you can see the tendency of the. You see that, okay, that for instance this year was increase, now decrease. Yeah, just to like a quick way of getting a histogram of the years. Okay, so let's solve this exercise together. Okay, let me check the questions or somewhere. Okay, how many years are represented in the census? So we see that we have, well, if you go to you create the year facet, you see that here they said 26 choices. So you have 26 different years in the in this database. Second question is, okay, we have discussed already this. Is the column formatted as a number, date of text? By default is text, but you can change it to a number. Change the faceting display. Yes, when it's number, you can still use the text faceting, but if it's text, you cannot use the numeric one. But well, maybe you find in the future that you don't need a numeric one, or maybe you find useful. Now, what I'm like giving or is good to know the options that OpenRefine has, and later you can choose the options that you find more convenient or not. And the last, which years have the most and least observations? So if we sort by count, we see that in 1997 we have the most is the year that we have most observations, that is 2,493, and the least is 1977, that we have 503. Okay, okay, I think that because we were talking before about changing this to you can change it to a number. Actually, now it's a number, but I think if you try to change it to a date, let's see what. And I mean, that's also the good thing of OpenRefine. You can play, you can execute things. If you see that if you are not happy with the change, you can always go back. You can always undo the change. So edit cell, transform, you can transform to date, but okay, what is in that column? In the column is the year. So when you transfer to date, you need also the month, the day, also the time. So I guess that when you do this, it's taking a while. You get a year. Now the year is a date, but you see that the format is 1st of January of 1982, 1st of January of 1991, because uh, the other the other information is missing. You don't have a date, you don't have a year. How can we undo this? If we go to the left part of our screen, you will find a tab that is undo redo, and you see the changes that we have done. You see the step 0. Yes, use the uh, counter like a C, starting by 0. 0 is a create project. Well, yeah, that's we don't need to undo that. The first thing that we have changed is we have transfer, and also is explained there, text transfer of all of these cells in column year. We have applied a value to number. And the second change that we have done is a text transfer cells in column year value to date. We are not happy with that. So what we can do is if we click in the in step 1, we come back to the step 1. We don't care. Okay, now if you see the column is numbers rather than. And if you go now to if also you are not happy with the numbers and you want to go back, you can click in the step 0, that is a create project, and you see that the year will be a string rather than a. I will check the chat in case that is there are some comments. Mm. Okay, I see that Andrew not letting me click to undo the task. So you cannot click on this like to redo.
That can you hear me, Juan?
Yes.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, so I've got a column just very similar to what you have on the left. With I've made lots of changes, but when I click on any individual one, it just kind of highlights that. It doesn't then change it. It just stays highlighted.
Okay. That's what we can do is okay. Let's try this and see if that works. I never try it, but okay, this is we're here to learn. What you can do is you can. Oh no, but I don't think that it will work. But we'll see. If you change to number again, no, doesn't change to.
Yeah, I tried that.
What you can do is okay, it's not. There are not. Not sure if you can see if you click in open. In the worst case, you can import again the file and see if that works. What? Sorry about that. It seems that it could be because the thing is OpenRefine. I'm using Google Chrome, but maybe using if you use another browser, maybe there are some issues. I'm not sure which version are you using, 3.5 or 3. Maybe it could be an issue with the version.
I think it's 3.5, and also I did it through Google Chrome as well.
I think I might have understood what's going on here, right? So rather than clicking an undo button, sorry, as I understand it, if you just click back to the step that you want to go back to and then proceed from there, those steps in front of that are now kind of faded out just don't apply. So it's not that there's like an undo button to unclick. It's more like you have a process, and then if you have a step or several steps that you want to kind of reverse and go back from, you just click back to the last step that you wanted, and then you go forward from there. Does that all make sense?
Not really, in the sense that I'm not sure exactly what you're describing doing.
So you can see on Juan's screen now, right? So he's got step 0 through to step 3, right? So in step 3, there was text transform of the cells, right, from whatever it was before, date.
Yep.
So let's say that he actually wants to undo that text transform and he wants to go back to date. All he would do is click on that 2, right? And so at the moment he's clicked on 1, so we can see that in the year column the numbers are in green because when they're in numeric form they're highlighted in green, whereas when they're in text I think they were highlighted in just black, like the other text.
Yeah, it's
so
not a highlight.
If you want to click on 2, it should then go forward, right? Yeah, there we go. And so now that's in date. And so all you have to do is just choose the step that you want to go back to.
Yeah, I am doing it though, and it's not responding. It doesn't.
Oh, at all?
No, also I see in the chat that is because okay, it works for me. It works if I choose the step, but I see that maybe for other, maybe you need to click on.
I do that, and then that comes up.
No,
Yeah,
okay, apply is Json. This is the apply. We will explain because the thing is when you are in this window, if you click on extract, you can export the changes to Json, to text format. This is what I explained in the previous, like before the break, that all the changes will be saved in a text file. So what you can do is you can copy this text and imagine that you download a new version of this document and you want to apply the same changes. You click on apply, you pay, oh no, that you paste the JSON text that you have copied before here. Okay, copy. You can do this and then you click in perform operations. But okay, my advice is maybe you can recreate the steps and import again the file, and if not, you can follow my screen, and later we can see how we can solve that if that's okay.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. Okay.
Or if I don't know if maybe we can create a breakout room and they can. But I mean, my advice is like just follow the screen and what I will explain, and maybe later in an exercise we can solve it or on a break. Okay, what's next? I have explained faceting, how to undo changes, and what is important also to explain is the clustering. Okay, let's come back to the close this thing. For clustering is okay. Facet do something like that, like you see scientific names and you see the different. We have 28 choices. So this, for instance, okay, cannot see the. You see these three, that is almost that there are some typos. We have here this scientific name has 435 entries, but there are other two that are not included, but actually are the same scientific name, but includes a typo. So with the clustering, we can do for clustering. We can do we can solve this issue. So again, to do the cluster, we go to the column name, that is a scientific name, and we click on the arrow here. And for the arrow is we go edit cells, and we click on cluster and edit. So if we do that, is I repeat again in the arrow of a scientific name, edit cells, and then cluster and edit. I will make this a little bit small. I will repeat again. Okay, now is show the. So yeah, sorry that the font is not very. The thing is here, this the clustering. What it does is detects similarities in the text and tells you if you want to merge or not. There are several methods and several keying functions. My advice is to try them, try different of them, and see the ones that you find. What is explaining what we will try here is a key collision, and we will try metaphone 3 for the keying function. So you see that there are, for instance, for the first one, we have all of these entries. So what we can do is we can choose a new cell value with the right name, and same for this and this. And we can merge. So if we click here in merge, and we click in merge selected and close, let's see what it you see that now we have a different we have for this we have less choices than before, because this having merge. And if we go again to this tab, that is not okay. They said that the change that it has done mass edit has been edited 739 cells in column scientific name. This is useful to spot if there is a typo or there is something wrong on with the text. Okay, so this is regarding clustering, but also another next thing that we can do is because we have a scientific name, and imagine that you want to because a scientific name contains like two words. One is for the genus and the other for the species. So you can split that column if you want. How you can do that? Again, you can. Okay, I didn't. There is a question when you do the clustering. I chose merge selection and close. I mean, you can also choose a merge selection and recluster, and then close the window. So now what we will do, we will see that we will have, I think we will have an error here if we split this column. So we click on the arrow next to scientific name, edit column, and you click on split into several columns. You can choose the separator here that what we have is a space, so we use a space as a separator, and then we click in OK. See, there is a question in the chat that is said, can we cluster and edit more than one column? That's a good question that I think is no. I think you do it per column. No, I think you cannot choose more columns. In one thing that you can do, maybe you can, if you want to use several columns, you can join these columns and then perform the cluster operation. But yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, not sure about the. I can have a look later and let you know. Okay, coming back to we are in the split column, scientific name into several columns, and we will use a blank space. Well, actually, space. If we click in OK, it's working. And okay, we have here what is the issue that we have. If you see at the beginning, well, we wanted to divide it between genus and species, but we have four columns. Do you know why? Do we have 4 columns rather than 2? Exactly, because there are extra spaces in the cells. So before doing this split, we needed to remove this blank spaces or these duplicated spaces. When you import the file, you can do that. If you remember, that was the trim white spaces that was unchecked. This was why I did that on purpose, because now you see that the error that you can have when you work with data by mistake, you can type several spaces. So the way to do that it is before splitting the column, you can get rid of these duplicated spaces. There are two ways here. You can join these 4 columns, or you can undo this. If I know that sorry, for some of you it doesn't work, but if you click in the step 1, you will come back to the previous. What I will do that I never try. Let's see if that we can try in join columns. Okay, let's try join columns. You have scientific name 1, 2, 3, and 4. Separator between the content of each column, space. Delete joining columns. Okay, let's see if that works. The join columns box is you click in scientific name 1, and there is an arrow, and you edit column and join columns. Let's see if that works. I never tried this before. Okay, doing this gets rid of all, I think, spaces. But you see also you can do join columns. In case that you don't want to join columns, you go to the step 1, that is a mass edit, and the option that we have here is edit exactly. Again, click on the arrow, edit cells, common transforms, and the first one that you find is trim leading and trailing white space. So if you click on that, there is a is explained in this list text transform on C3 cells in column scientific name, and also it tells you the function that has been applied, value.trim. And now here, if we split the column, that is again clicking on the arrow, edit column, split into several columns. Separator, we will use blank space. Click on OK. And now scientific name, we have 2 columns rather than 4. So that is like a very small exercise is to rename in these columns rather than scientific name 1, scientific name 2. change the name of the columns. So I'll give you some time to change that. So for the scientific name 1 and scientific name 2, change the name of the column. The way is you click on the arrow and find where the option is to update the column name. Can rename the column name to you can, yeah, there's the scientific name 2, you can use species as well, actually this is the exercise. In the meantime, I will repeat again how to divide the columns, split the columns. I will go back, and then okay, scientific name. The arrow is edit column, split into several columns. And by default, we have the separator is a comma, but we don't want a comma. We want a blank space. So here we delete the comma. We introduce we press space on our keyboard, and we have a space there. You can see. Well, you can. It's a blank space, so you cannot see. And then I click here in OK. Doing that, I will have 2 columns, scientific name 1 and scientific name 2. And now the exercise is this second column, rename the second column. So as some people have seen in the have already said in the chat, one of the ways is to okay, if we click again on the arrow next to the new column scientific name 2, let me find the edit column. I guess here should be okay, rename this column. So you can use a species, but okay, I get an error saying that another column already named species. So I can choose another name. Rename this column. Can use a species name, for instance. It works. And I can edit also this rename and remove the number 1. Okay, that's another trick is to use a capital S. Okay, but well, this is just an example to learn how to rename columns. But as we explained before with the column names, we need to be, because imagine that you use a capital S and you send this database to someone else. When they open the file, they will see that there are two column calls species, and they will not know the difference. So I don't know exactly the contents of the other. Oops. But I mean, my suggestion is when you choose the column name, be as explicit or like yeah, give a proper column name for other people to understand. But yeah, this is not this is just an example, so you can put the name in that. So any questions regarding what we have seen so far? So okay, let's have seen so far. We have seen faceting, that we can see the categories of each. For instance, for scientific name, we have seen how to like clean the column, clean the white spaces that are repeated. We have seen how to split columns. We also have seen how to cluster in case to solve some typos for the scientific name, for instance. And also, one thing that we can do is we can do sorting as well. We can sort the data. For instance, I will sort by species, for instance. So the way of doing that is you click in. I will make this a little bit bigger. So to sort, first, well, you click on the arrow in species, and then you click on sort. You can sort by text, numbers. Also, you can say I want to sort from A to Z or the other way around. And here also tells you the valid errors will be at the beginning, errors will be later, and blanks later. So you can, for instance, if you're sorting to spot the blanks, you can change you can change the order of the, but okay, we will leave valid values, errors, and blanks. Text, AZ, and then clicking OK. Let's see how. And now we see that we see that for this column species, at the beginning we have AB. Okay, because it's you see on the top, we can limit the number of columns that the number of rows that we are showing. We have 10, but we can, if we click in 25, you show 25 rows. This is for big data sets like this one. You can show not the whole file, like just load 25 columns, 10 columns, etc. What else before? Also, if you are not happy with the, you have sort the column and say, okay, it's not, I'm not happy with the result. You can undo or you can if you go now to click on the arrow species sort, you can do reverse the sort or remove the sort. If you click on that, now you see that the column is not short any longer. What else before finishing? Two things. Okay, well, I have explained it before, but you can here you have these are the, okay, sorry, let me make this smaller. To this data set, we have done 5 changes. We have done the clustering in scientific name. We have removed the blank spaces in the names. We have split the column scientific name, and then we renamed the two columns. And all of these changes are saved in this format that is called Json. Is a format. What we will do, we will select well, all, and here what I can do is I can copy this text, and I can save this text in a text file that I can use later with the changes. Why I explaining that? Because imagine that when you the way of doing that is you can save the raw data, and you save these changes, and you can also, for someone else, will be easier to open the file with OpenRefine and see the changes that you have done, and can agree and say, okay, yeah, I'm happy with these changes. So, for instance, he can say, no, I don't want to rename this column. He can uncheck this Why I saying that? Because you can also, when you change this, you can save this file and you can open a new. We will open a new. I will go now a little bit fast. The thing is, my advice is like just attend the follow the screen that I'm sharing, and you can see what I'm doing. Later you can apply the changes. So what I can do is I can create a new project from scratch. I chose this file. Project name will be a new project, for instance, and I create the project. And you see, okay, this is the no changes, but okay, a colleague of mine sent me the changes that he has done. So what I can do here, I can paste the changes. I can paste the JSON format. That is kind of readable. You see that, for instance, edits from these files has been renamed to this, etc. Well, they also contains a description, kind of readable, but well, you can perform the operations. So, for instance, this is one advantage of this tool, that you have the raw data, you have a separate file with the changes that you have done, and this is reproducible, rather than, for instance, when you use a spreadsheet, you will need to write, okay, click in this button, now click here, now go to this new window that is open, now check this. So in this way, this is a better way to save the changes that you have done to the raw data. Now imagine that, well, imagine, okay, now you are happy with these changes and you want to save them, create a new file with the changes, a new CSV file with the changes, because you will use this new file, for instance, in R or SQL, Python, to do to create some plots or to do some apply some statistics in this. So what is the way to do that? You can export, and you can choose. You have a okay. That is a. I was talking before about comma separated values. I think I'll try to make this bigger. No, bigger doesn't work. Okay, now it's better. Also, you have a tab separated values, but well, normally we use a comma separated values. But also you can export to, don't know, in case that you need to export to Excel or a spreadsheet, like a LibreOffice, OpenOffice spreadsheet. You can also export to SQL format, but the good thing with the comma separated values is that Python, R, SQL, all of these languages or these understand the comma separated value. So this is like a more open or more common format. So yes, let's choose can choose a comma separated value. Well, you see here on the bottom of my browser that I have a new project.csv. Doesn't give you the choice to This is like a download in the downloads folder, and this is the, then you can open the file and show in folder, and you can take this file, and you see that we have never modified the raw data. We have opened the raw data. We have done some changes, and then we have saved. We can save the changes in a text file, saying, okay, we have changed that. But also you can save the data set with the new with all of the changes into the new in a new CSV file. See that there is maybe there is an issue opening. Oh no, okay, no, not this. Read in the chat that was an issue with the. Let me check the file that was generated. New. Okay, yeah, but no, it's because yeah, I have seen in the chat that okay, if you want to export rather than the whole file, you want to export part of the file. This is done with the, I think with the, okay, I think I know what you have done, the facet. If you do the facet by scientific name, and you click on the name, for instance, this name has two entries. So you have these two entries here. And when you click on export, you can export only these two entries. You see, sorry, I will make this bigger. That you have exclude, include, etc. For instance, now you see that these two are highlighted. That's why it's like you may get in this case you will get 439 rows if now you click in export, because in this facet scientific name we have chosen these two. There is a question in the chat that okay, you export the CSV file and later you can choose you can either open the file in OpenRefine, or you can use other program like other or use for scripting using R, SQL, Python, even Excel. Imagine that you have a subset like in the previous case that we have only 40 rows. Yeah, maybe you want, or the researcher want to open it with the Excel. Is up to thing. So I see that we are close to the lunch break. Are any other questions? So as I said before, this is recorded in case that the recordings will be available next week. In case that you want to go through this lesson again, the materials are on the website, that they will be always available. Of course, if you have any questions later today or tomorrow, please feel free to ask me. The recordings will be available here. In that website will be the recordings will be available. And also apologize if I was in some parts of OpenRefine a little bit fast, but yes, was not like not easy. Normally, when we are face to face, it's easier to keep track on he's like on the same page or he's a little bit behind. But yeah, I understand that following this in your laptop and having several screens is not like the best the best way. But anyway, yeah, you will have there the recordings and you will have also the material to have a look later. Please, if you have any questions later today or tomorrow, I will be more than happy to answer them. So, okay, I will stop talking, lunch break. Next session will be R, that my colleague Eugenie will teach that part, and I will be around as a helper until the end of today's session. So thanks. Have a nice lunch break and speak to you soon. We come back at 1:30. I will share the the timetable now. Thanks.